Today we're looking at this Jim Panini signature guitar, John Pacino signature guitar, Jeff Petrucci signature guitar, James Patterson signature guitar, Jeff Prego signature guitar, Edward Music Woman Jeb Patuno signature guitar. This is a Volgoa GTM2. I found this on Amazon for $135, and I never buy cheapo Amazon guitars, like ever. It does not happen. But this one was a little bit different because, first of all, I've never seen one that basically looks exactly like an Ernie Ball Music Man John Petrucci guitar. There's like a very slight difference cosmetically, but I've never seen that before on Amazon. So that got my interest first. That's why I clicked on it. Once I clicked on it and saw the specs, though, I was like, what now? This guitar boasts 24 ball end stainless steel frets, which is crazy. So, like, I'm gonna say it again, $135, 24 ball end stainless steel frets, and it's legit. These are legit stainless steel. I have more than one guitar with stainless steel. This is stainless steel. Secondly, has a baked maple fretboard and baked maple neck. $135. Another thing it has, which I thought was interesting, was a 2-point tremolo system. Lots of guitars in this price range have that 6-point vintage tremolo system, which basically just means it doesn't work. This one has a 2-point, so I thought that was kind of interesting. It has potential to work, and actually, turns out it does work. It said it had locking tuners, which it does not have, so yeah, I got lied to. So with all these crazy specs, and with that price tag, I kind of just had to grab this guitar. The official John Panini Ernie Ball Music Woman guitar. So how is it? That's the question. How is it? How is it? Well, let's get a bit into how this guitar plays. The weirdest part of this guitar is that it's actually really damn good. The fretboard is like perfectly smooth. There's no sharp ends. It's like perfectly rolled over. You kind of expect as much with those ball ends, but when you get it in your hands and you kind of feel it, and then you paid $135 for it, it's kind of like, it kind of blows your mind a little bit, and it's kind of nuts to kind of feel it and be like, wow, that's really nice and smooth. There's no dead spots from high frets or anything like that, so like the fretboard was done pretty much perfectly, and then the frets, they really are ball end, and they are very well polished. So like all the things you get when you spend like no money on a super cheap guitar, you don't really get with this guitar. So that's pretty nuts. The other thing about this guitar that I find really, really strange is that it stays in tune with the trem. So like I said, this guitar surprisingly stays really well in tune. I want to show you really fast just how extreme that can be. So here's the guitar. It's pretty in tune now, I think. Here's the stereo pickups. Just come with my speakers there. So pretty in tune, right? So watch this. It's still in tune. What the hell? So that's kind of bonkers. You know, it came with this plastic nut and non-locking tuners, right? And that only really matters if it matters, you know? So if it doesn't stay in tune, who cares if it's a plastic nut or a non-locking low quality tuners, right? Does that really matter if it stays in tune? I don't think so. And then the third thing is this top. looks really nice. It is a photo flame top, and if you don't know what that is, that means this is a picture of a top. And they just glued it on top of the regular guitar wood, which I believe was supposed to be mahogany. And I find that kind of nuts as well, because it looks super consistent. I would say it's probably the lowest quality of the three, like top veneer or photo flame. But the benefit is you get complete control over how it looks, and it looks pretty insane. As you can kind of see here, it looks really freaking cool, which is really strange. So yeah, so far, this Jordan Patino signature guitar is looking pretty good. There are a couple of bad things though about this Jordan Patino signature guitar. The first bad thing is going to be these pickups. They are microphonic and they scream louder than my mom used to when I was outside playing and it was dinner time. I wouldn't say they're unusable. Like if you're not around a lot of light, like I clearly am, you probably could use them, but from where I'm sitting, these pickups are pretty much impossible to use because they're so loud. It's pretty nuts. Another thing I find really interesting about this guitar is, you know, while all of the hardware is actually really quite nice. I mean, this switch, for example, is like a nice clunky switch, which I found very surprising. And there's a toggle switch for coil splitting. Of all things, these springs are ridiculously loud. I mean, ridiculously loud. I mean, what the hell? Another thing about this guitar that I find kind of interesting is that this nut has all the creaky klebs when you tune it. Like as I tune it up, it pings. But what's weird about that is that it stays in tune when I use the trem. So I don't know how that works, but either way, I can tell this nut was not cut nearly as well as it should have been. But like I said, it stays in tune really, really well. So does that matter? I don't know anymore, man. This guitar confuses me. I'm so confused. So yes, the Volgoa George Partisan guitar. I would say overall, for the money, sincerely, probably the best $135 you could probably spend on anything guitar related right now. It's pretty freaking crazy, man. So what I'm going to do with this guitar is I'm going to change these springs to some noiseless springs. You can find them for like $10 on Amazon. And then I'm going to change out these pickups to another cheap Amazonian brand called Safu. I already found the set I want. They basically mirror the Crunch Lab and Liquefier set, so I'm going to try and get the sound just like a John Petrucci guitar. But once you do those couple of things, I honestly think that this guitar competes with like a Sterling. It really does. One thing that I almost forgot to mention before this video ends is that the fretboard was like desert dry. And I'm guessing this guitar has been sitting for quite a while before they shipped it out to me, so I had to use some F1 oil. But like when I first got it and I did like something like this, it's just a, it was so scratchy. It was super scratchy. So the F1 oil got rid of all of that pretty much immediately, and now it plays really well. But when you get yours, do not be surprised if the entire fretboard is as dry as a desert. But I think if you're okay with doing just a little bit of modding to this guitar, and again, pickups, new springs are a must, and then maybe some oil to the fretboard, you're gonna have like a $600 quality guitar for like $135. So this has been a fascinating experience for me, and it probably is gonna be the beginning of a new addiction where I buy these incredibly cheap Chinese guitars and see if they're any good, because this one sets the bar extremely high. But of course, I would expect no less from a Ernie Ball music, or excuse me, a Tim Square Music Woman John Patterson signature guitar. Anyways, guys, if you liked the video, let me know. The link to this guitar is down in the description, and if you give me a follow on your way out, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.